Testing. Hey guys, welcome back to another video with REALME Reviews. So once again, we're here in the car for another in-car review of a new smartphone that I just got in my hands. So today we'll be checking out the REALME 6i, and I've got this device for the past few days now, and I just want to share with you my honest opinions with using the REALME 6i. So before I start that, just a very quick introduction on this device. This is part of the REALME 6 series, where there is the REALME 6 Pro, the REALME 6, as well as the REALME 6i. So the REALME 6i sits at the bottom of the table. It is the most budget friendly, but is it worth your money? Let's find out. Alright guys, so before we check out the REALME 6i, let me just show you guys what we get in the box. Obviously, once again, we get this really nice bright yellow color box from REALME, and in the box we actually get a very standard set of accessories. So without dwelling too much on the unboxing itself, let me just show you right away what you get in the box. So first up, obviously you get a charger that comes in the box. This is not the fastest charger that we have out there, but it's a standard 9V2A charger. So apart from that, we also get a USB Type-C cable, a very standard Type-C cable right there, and you also get your favorite silicone case. So as always, the good thing for having this case in the box is because the REALME 6i is still a brand new device and it's not easy for you to get cases online yet. So we have this REALME 6i transparent silicone case here that can protect the device right out of the box. And last but not least, of course, we do get the REALME 6i. So the device that I have in hand today is called the milk white color, and as you can see, it looks pretty interesting. Design wise, it really depends on how you look at this device. I think it looks pretty good. It is very simple. It has these white lines that goes along the back cover, and you can actually see the lines in different lighting. So it depends on how you tilt the device, you'll actually see the lines on the back cover. Moving on to the front, we actually have a tiny teardrop notch at the front, which is perfectly fine by me. I prefer the notch to be right in the middle rather than on the left because it just looks a bit off. So having the notch in the middle is perfectly fine. On the sides, we have these nice silver edges that goes all around the device, and I think it looks pretty cool. So as you can see here, these buttons are very nicely made onto the sides, as well as on the other side we have the lock button. So once again, I have to touch a bit on the back panel. So this feels a bit plasticky, as you can hear right here. It is definitely made of plastic, but the good news here is that this is made of matte materials. So it is very smooth to the touch and it will not collect any fingerprints no matter how you place your fingers on the back panel. So that is definitely good in my standards. Of course, we do have this fingerprint scanner at the back here as well, and it works very well. So in terms of design, I think it is perfectly fine. It's nothing too flashy, but it's not too boring as well. Everything is good right here. Alright, so now let's talk about using the device itself. I know it's starting to rain out there, so hopefully I can finish the review in time and it doesn't cause too much noise to the video. But first up, let me talk about the LCD display. So the LCD display that we have on the REALME 6i is sort of a mixed bag. The good news here is that the colors are very nice. The colors are very saturated. The contrast levels is also pretty good. As you can see here, the blacks are actually pretty deep. It's surprisingly good for a LCD panel, and I'm very happy with the saturation and the contrast levels. Brightness levels are also pretty great. We are able to go very bright even though we are outdoors right here, and we can get a very good display. So the only problem with the display is that it is a 720p display, meaning that you cannot watch 1080p videos. So for example, if you just hit into YouTube and just choose any video that you watch, you won't be able to play the video in 1080p or 4K or whatnot, but you're still able to get 720p. So the good thing here is that the videos turn out still pretty good and it's not that bad, but once in a while you are able to see some pixels on the display itself. But it is definitely still very nice even though it is on this 720p display. Alright, so having said that, let's move on to the performance of this device. So obviously this is running the latest Helio G80, and my device comes with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. So the 128GB is expandable via micro SD memory card, and you can put that in there. So apart from that, in terms of just operating the device from a day-to-day basis, I found that navigating through the device is pretty smooth. Obviously, apps will not open the quickest, but so far everything is pretty fine. I don't find that there are any lags or any major stutters in the device. Everything just works pretty smoothly, and although I can say that this is not the fastest device out there, but so far it has provided me with a very stable experience. Alright, so as you can see here, one thing I need to mention as well is that the REALME 6i is actually running based off Android version 10, and that is definitely good news because this is the latest version right now and everything is based off that. So apart from that, let me talk a bit about the gaming experience on this device. So obviously I play a lot of Mobile Legends like I've mentioned in my previous videos, and playing Mobile Legends on the Realme 6i is a pretty smooth experience. So I don't face any lags. I'm able to play at the highest settings without any lags, but I would recommend you to just choose the second highest level settings. Apart from that, the good news here is that because we have this plastic kind of back cover, I'm pleased to announce that the device doesn't get too hot even after gaming for about 45 minutes. So obviously if you game for more than an hour, it might get a bit more hot, and I don't recommend you to play games for so long, alright? Okay, so in terms of performance, I would say that it is pretty good for the kind of price that you're paying for this device. So meanwhile, let me just show you very quickly the AnTuTu benchmark scores that I got for the Realme 6i. Obviously, I ran it to the test and I got 201,000. So this is very similar in terms of performance to the Snapdragon 675 or the Kirin 960 from Huawei. So this is just for reference, but overall, I must just let you know that performance on this Realme 6i is pretty good. One thing I did notice here is that the Wi-Fi is a bit weird. So when I went to Wi-Fi, I'm not able to connect to 5 GHz wireless router. So the router that I have at home has two bands. It is a 5 GHz and a 2.4 GHz version, and I'm only able to detect the 2.4 GHz version. So the connection is very strong and I'm getting very consistent speeds on the 2.4, but just bear in mind that you might not be able to connect to 5 GHz routers. So that's just something that you must keep in mind. Alright, now let's talk a bit about those cameras at the back. Let me zoom in for you guys. So at the back here we have a quad camera system led by the 48 megapixel main sensor. So we also have an 8 megapixel wide sensor, a 2 megapixel macro, and another 2 megapixel black and white. So in terms of numbers alone, it may sound very impressive that it has a 48 megapixel camera, but these days we only focus on the image quality that comes out from the camera itself and not dwell too much on the numbers. So in terms of image quality, I'm happy to say that daylight shots has been pretty okay. There is nothing much to shout about the image quality on the Realme 6i. Overall, I'm getting pretty decent images from the daytime shots. So wide angle shots are also average. I wouldn't say that it's the sharpest out there, but it's definitely acceptable. I'll show you guys a couple of samples so you can decide on your own whether the quality is good or not. Moving on to night shots, it definitely isn't the best right here. I noticed that taking night shots on the Realme 6i definitely isn't its strongest point. For example, you can see this image right here. This was taken with night mode turned on, and you can see that there is a lot of noise. There is just too much noise in the picture, and I would actually recommend you to just shoot night images without the night mode. That is something that I found to actually provide better results. So at the end of the day, it is not that good in terms of night images, but daytime shots is pretty good. In terms of the selfie, we do get a 16 megapixel front facing camera. And it works just as expected. It is not once again, it is not the best selfie camera out there, but yeah, it definitely works for posting on social media. Alright guys, enough about the cameras. You've seen the sample, so you have to decide whether you can accept the quality of the images coming out from the Realme 6i. So last but not least, let me talk a bit about the battery life and speakers on the Realme 6i. So battery wise, we do get a 5000 mAh battery that is very, very strong. I'm definitely able to get one full day of use just with one single charge. Screen on time has been about 6 to 7 hours for me, but it really depends on what you do on your device. In terms of the speaker, once again, this is a single firing speaker and it's not the loudest. Sound quality is decent, good enough for gaming and yeah, probably just gaming. But if you want a better audio quality, you can always put in your headphones or other earphones using the headphone jack that comes on the device itself. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I've covered pretty much everything that I have to cover on this Realme 6i. Overall, if you ask me if this is a good device, obviously we don't have a price right now here in Malaysia, but based on pricing that I've seen in other countries, it is about 750 ringgit, which makes it slightly less than $180 US. So if this is priced at $180 US, I think that it is actually a pretty good buy, considering that you get a very nice display here, although not the sharpest. You get a decent set of cameras and the build quality is very solid. So in my next video, I'll be comparing this Realme 6i with my Redmi Note 9S and let you know which is the better buy. So stay tuned for that, and if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!